Here. So Jen's going to give us an opening statement and then we can do questions. Just a reminder, leave your mics muted and then use the raise your hand feature to ask Jen questions and I will call on you. So Coach, if you want to go ahead with your opening statement.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. We are really excited that it's finally match week and get to travel for our first preseason tournament at Wake Forest to take on Navy, Wake Forest, and Hofstra. The team has been working extremely hard and, trying to get some lineups together, but just excited to finally play somebody else.
Okay, and then we can open it up for questions. So like I said, just use the raise your hand feature and I will call on you. Go ahead, Kevin Redford.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for giving the time. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. We talked about it a little when we first met with you, but the returners that you kept, now that they've gone through the full off season, how much of an impact have they had and helped you and the team itself?
Yeah, I mean, the group of returners that we have, have been great. They've been extremely just excited to, get to work and learn our system. And they're, tremendous people and students as well. So that's been great. But they've been really instrumental in just kind of setting the tone and like I said, great attitudes as far as wanting to learn and getting out there and getting better every single day.
Okay, Eric Little, you can go ahead.
So you've got captains in Haley, Lauren, and Sydney. Every team picks captains in a different way. What was the process like for this team? Is that something the peers did? Is that something the coaches did? A little bit of both?
Yeah, it's something that we have done for a long time, and it's kind of this it's a pretty in-depth sheet just about many different categories, whether that's hard work, communication skills, confidence, not complaining. There's probably 20 questions, and the team actually goes through anonymously and picks kind of the top three leaders in each of those categories, and then we as coaches compile that. So it's definitely not a popularity contest or you don't have to have been a captain before, but it's really it's not what you say, it's what you do that comes across pretty strong in this top three leaders categories that we put together.
Okay, Michael Griffith, you can go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, head coach. So, can you just talk about the schedule a little bit? Obviously, the Big 12 is a tough volleyball conference, and you guys play a tough schedule, non-con, all that stuff. So, and for you as a West Coast native, will you be seeing any new places, any new arenas, anything like that? Just talk about the schedule and some challenges and what excites you about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, being hired a little bit late in the scheduling game as far as preseason goes, typically we love to be able to host a tournament. And in the future, that's what we will be looking to do of one of these first 4 weekends, but didn't quite come together this first year. And so we are on the road. A little Willie Nelson will be playing probably by that 4th weekend for sure. But we've got some kind of more local East Coast that's makes travel pretty easy, and then a trip further west to North Dakota. But we were just trying to find the best RPI teams that we could without maybe overscheduling, not really knowing what we were going to get in the transfer portal and things like that too early. But yeah, I think it's a decently tough schedule. And then of course, you're exactly right. The Big 12 is a really good volleyball conference, and we will be seeing many places that we haven't been. The longer I've been in this game, though, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I was there as a player, but that was a really long time ago. But it'll be fun to kind of get out of the normal, I guess, Pac-12 comfort zone. But we do get to return to some of those places and have that familiarity as well.
Okay, we're going to go back to Kevin Redfern.
Oh, so in your first year, in terms of pageantry, it's kind of maxed out with the anniversary, cool new court. First of all, was the court your idea or was that in the works? And second of all, how much does that heighten everything this year?
It was my idea. So, when I was hired, Ren Baker and I kind of made a deal that, we would try and get this done because I think it's such a huge not only advantage for our players, I think it really cuts down on injury and just the wear and tear of their bodies. And then for recruiting and being able to, host tournaments and things like that. I think it's really important and just kind of sets the tone that, volleyball is being invested in here at West Virginia. So we love our new Terraflex court. It's been great so far. And so just, really excited about all the things, the 50-year reunion, that's coming up, celebrating the 50 years of volleyball. A reunion will take place in November. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of those players back that I will get to meet because I'm just not familiar with them. And I think it'll be a great time to celebrate just what all those players have done in the past.
And then just to follow up on that, for those who might be unfamiliar, the new court, that's a whole new surface then, correct? It's not just paint laid on top of the basketball court.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it rolls out, I guess kind of similar to like what a wrestling mat would do, but it's, pretty volleyball specific. A lot of the top 50 programs have that now. It really is a game changer. But yeah, once basketball season kind of starts, we'll have to, take it up and put it down. And so we won't be able to practice on it quite as much. But for right now, it's been just great to have that down every day for us.
Okay, then back to Eric Little.
At what point in the preseason workouts does the focus shift from just general fundamentals and the things that you want to do and you want to impart onto this program to schools like Navy and Wake Forest and Hofstra and prepping for this weekend?
Yeah, I think we've tried to keep it pretty similar to what just a normal game week would be. So, we've taken kind of those first 2 weeks of preseason and really tried to focus on ourselves. This week, turn the page Monday and start preparing a little bit more, starting lineups. And, that first match of the season is always tough. You're maybe looking at film from last year or whatever, but, Navy has a ton of newcomers just as we do. So, talking about just being able to make in-match changes and, how quickly can we do that and make adjustments. So definitely just kind of focused on ourselves for the beginning. And then this week have treated it truly more like a normal game week.
Okay, and then Michael Griffith.
Thank you. So obviously, Coach, the job that you did at Washington State was incredible, right? Bringing them to the national spotlight, 8 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. Can you just talk about the intrigue of the job here? And, when you were hired, a lot of people were like, oh, wow, she's a top 25 coach. Like, this program is in a little bit of a rebuild era. Like, what is it about the job here that really intrigued you? And when Ren Baker first approached you about it, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a pretty crazy year with, the Pac-12 essentially dissolving and Washington State kind of being left out in the cold and just not having answers. So for Burdette and I as coaches, just really wanting to still stay in the Power Four and be able to compete at the highest level that we possibly could. So when this West Virginia job came open and talked to Ren, to be honest, the first time was probably thinking, I'm not sure, West Virginia is a long ways from home. But after talking to Ren, just realized what a great leader he is and that he wants to invest in the sport of volleyball and see it grow because it is just so popular, throughout the country as well. That was really something intriguing. And then when I made the trip here to Morgantown, once again, I'm not a city girl. I am a college town girl. Grew up in a town with one blinking light. So Morgantown's actually pretty big for me. And so just it really is about the people and the support that West Virginia has for all of its sports teams and the university in general. Just it felt really special, and it does feel like coming home just on the East Coast.
I just wanted to ask, like, this is just a side note. I cover the high schools locally here too. Have you had any chance to like connect with any of the local programs? Morgantown High School is defending state champions. That is anything like that recently?
Yeah, I heard they have this new freshman, Leah Greeny, who's 6'2", and she's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So I have seen Morgantown High play. Was able to watch. Yeah, they're off to a great start. But yeah, the sport of volleyball is really taking off, like I said, throughout the country, but here in West Virginia as well. So and I'm happy. I've told lots of coaches throughout the state, we're happy to do anything for them, to connect with them. If they need anything, if they want to come to practice, we want to be very, very accessible to volleyball players and coaches and fans throughout the state.
And then back to Kevin, if you still had your hand raised there.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. Coach, one of the more fascinating things we learned about you from your Three Guys episode was your relationship with Dick Bennett. How often are you guys still talking, and how much is everything you learned from him, how is that applicable in the transfer portal era?
Oh man, yeah, we don't get to talk to Coach Bennett near as much as we would like. You know, we are a little closer to Tony now, so we might need to take a trip down there. But you know, just the foundation that Dick Bennett just built wherever he was, I think is so important to have that in any program that you're building. So, you know, we were lucky enough to be able to, you know, take all that information with us. But I still think it's relevant in the era of the transfer portal. I mean, you still have to have that foundation. You know, we have the same 5 core values. And we've never wavered from that. So every recruit from 2007 at Lewis Clark State through Washington State, through every recruit that we've had here at West Virginia has heard the same message. And, you know, so I think that's really important. And yeah, it still rings true in the transfer portal era. You just, you're trying to build that maybe a little quicker.
Okay, Eric.
I know the roster is maybe not as big as you'd like it to be, but at this point of the preseason, how comfortable are you with personnel groupings and rotations and getting who you want to see on the floor together, actually getting them out there together?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're kind of trying to wrap some people in bubble wrap a little bit. You know, preseason camp can be pretty tough on the body, but you know, we are nursing a couple of just injuries, but everybody's been great, and you know, it's been nothing major, so that's wonderful. But just getting a lot of different people into the lineup, and I think that's gonna probably be how it is, kind of like by committee, and changing some people around. And I think that is something, at least you know, at Washington State early on, that we did, and moving people around. You're going to maybe see people in different positions. And so we've just told every player to be ready, no matter what. And they might be, you know, just trying to do whatever they can for the good of the group.
To follow up real quickly on that, with a smaller roster, do you expect to kind of have an idea of those rotations and who you want together maybe earlier than usual in past years, or later than in past years?
Oh man, I just think having such a new group and trying to get everybody to gel, you know, like if you have a returning group of lots of starters, you know, you typically are able to get your lineup together a little bit earlier. For us, I think it's going to be evolving throughout our first few weekends. So we'll just see from there. I think everybody's doing a really good job competing, and different people have great practices, and you have to be able to reward them and get them into the lineup at some point in time.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions for Coach Greeny? Alrighty, if that's all, to wrap it up, I just wanted to let everybody know that at our home games, we're gonna give coach about a 15-minute grace period. And then we're gonna host like post-game interviews over in front of the Club 35 doors. So if you have any interview requests for post-game, please just shoot me an email and let everyone know in your organization that that's kind of our plan right now. But I'm gonna stop recording.